What's up guys, Saif Ashraf here, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be looking at the S22 Ultra and seeing whether it's still worth buying this phone in 2023. Let's get straight into the video. So let's talk about updates first. So in terms of updates, Samsung have been promising a couple years of updates with all their phones, even their mid-range phones. And seeing as this is a flagship phone, I'm pretty confident to say that this phone has at least 3 to 4 or maybe even 5 years of mainstream software updates coming to this phone. And of course many more security patches even after the main updates are gone. So let's talk about performance. Yes, it is last year's phone and yes, it is using last year's chipset. And the thing about the S22 series and all the other Samsungs before that is that Samsung gave half of their consumers Exynos chips made by Samsung and half of their consumers were given Snapdragon chips. Now obviously the Snapdragon chips were much better. This is actually an Exynos phone because I live in the United Kingdom and we all got the worst performing chips. However, not to say that these chips had any bad performance overall. It's a flagship phone, it's an S22 Ultra. Anything you throw to this phone, the phone will be able to handle completely fine. Heavy gaming, heavy app, heavy workloads, even multitasking, something iPhones can't do. This phone will be able to do very smoothly. The chip is quite efficient, so battery life is also not bad, but we'll talk about that in detail a bit later on. But yeah, performance wise, I wouldn't worry at all. Once again, year to year, smartphone performance jumps aren't as big as they seem. So if you are looking to buy an S23 Ultra and an S22 Ultra, the 22 and the 23 don't have a big gap in how well each phone performs. The phone does feel smooth, does feel snappy, and apps do open really quickly. So overall, performance wise, yes, this phone is still a beast. Now the design is pretty easy to get around on this phone. It is a very nice, very sleek phone. This S22 series, the Ultra phone, was actually one of my favorite looking phones of all time. The S23 Ultra didn't really change anything, to be honest, with the design of the 22 Ultra. But in my opinion, the 22 Ultra feels really nice in the hand. It has that boxy feeling that I've loved across the old Note phones that Samsung used to make. Since they merged the Note and the S series, the S Pen is also available on the S22 Ultra. And I don't use the S Pen a lot, but when it's there and it's amazing to use. I love the boxy design overall. I have the burgundy color over here, which does look quite nice. You do also get obviously the other range of black, silver and those types of colors. But in my opinion, the burgundy color did stand out quite well when it came out against the rest of the crowd. Frosted glass at the back, similar to what the iPhone has. This actually, in my opinion, feels a bit nicer and a bit smoother, a bit softer. We do have, I think, Gorilla Glass Victus on the front and the back of this phone, which means if you do drop this phone, it will not break. I mean, obviously it will break, but it is more strong than the other previous Samsung phones we've had. We have aluminium across the sides of the phone, which isn't no stainless steel, but it is lighter and it still looks really nice. Overall design of this phone, I'd give a 10 out of 10. I actually really like the design. One thing I wanted to talk about the design of this phone though is that when you shake this phone, I don't know, I'm gonna put this near my microphone. I don't know if you can hear that, but it kind of shakes. I think it's the camera modules inside the phone, or maybe it's just my unit specifically, but that was pretty strange when Now let's talk about the display turning around to the front of the phone. The display, I think there's not even much for me to say. Samsung make the best displays on any smartphone and it's not much different on the S23. Let me give you the specs. So we have a 6.8 inch 1440p 120Hz OLED panel by Samsung. And yeah, it has a little hole punch, so a very little interruption. But to be honest, when you're using this phone for a long time, you're just gonna go past it and forget it ever existed. The display on this phone is smooth, like I said, 120Hz, which you can also turn down to 60Hz if you want to save battery. But yeah, Samsung make the best displays on any smartphone. It's really bright, you can see it in the sunlight. It's not that much different to the S23 Ultra, barely any differences. But yeah, the display, the thing you're going to be looking at when using this phone the most, it's perfect. Literally perfect. Now the battery life depends if you're getting this phone used or brand new. If you're getting this phone used, obviously the previous owner would have degraded this battery over time, but the phone still lasts a good amount of time, around 6 to 8 hours of screen on time depending on how heavy you use it. If you are using it much heavier and you do have the Exynos chip, that will go down quite significantly. But we do have an alright battery. It is, I think, 5000 milliamp hours, which is a huge battery, bigger than a lot of phones on the market right now. But yeah, it's a big phone, it has a big battery, it's gonna last you all day. We do have wireless charging as well as reverse wireless charging as well as USB-C fast charging. So yeah, charging experience overall solid. Alright, so now let's go through the cameras of the smartphone. We have 4 sensors at the back, I think 4 or 5, I don't even know. So we have the ultra wide, we have the main 108 megapixel sensor, we have the 10 times telephoto sensor, and you have the 3 times telephoto sensor. Now, it's a Samsung phone. We all know what Samsung photos look like, but this Samsung phone specifically produces nice shots. Obviously, it is not the sensor that we have in the S23 Ultra, which is 200 megapixels, but the sensors on this phone produce some nice shots. I'm going to try and put some examples up here on the board for you now. Okay, I'm not a teacher, up on the screen. But yeah, as you guys can see, they produce some nice crispy shots. Samsung always have a history of producing some nice vibrant looking shots as well. So as you can see, overall, the photo experience is great. We have that 100 times space zoom, which, yeah, let's face it, you're only going to use it to look at the moon every once in a while. But yeah, we have that if you really do want it. We have the telephoto, which is good for portrait mode. I personally always use the telephoto for portrait mode. We have the ultra-wide camera, which once again, 0.6 times, not at the widest I've seen on any smartphone, but once again produces clean shots. Overall, the photos experience on this phone is what you're going to know from Samsung phones. It's great. The video quality is also good. It's not on par with the iPhones. Obviously, iPhones have amazing video quality. Not that I'm an Apple sheep or whatever. But yeah, the video quality, not to say it's bad. It's actually still really good, up to 4K 60 in HDR. Not Dolby Vision though. But yeah, honestly, the camera system on this phone is great. Now, just some little things. The speakers are great. The haptic motor, the vibrations in this phone are also great. And the under display fingerprint scanner is also something really, really nice, which I wish iPhones had. So yeah, to conclude, should you buy the S22 Ultra in 2023? You absolutely should. It will save you quite a bit of money compared to the S23 Ultra, which is still over £1,000 in the UK. And you're getting quite a similar device. You're getting the exact same design, the exact same display. You're getting a great set of cameras. The chip could be improved. Obviously, you're going to get a bit more performance on the S23 Ultra, but depending on who you are as a person and how you use your phone, the S22 Ultra will actually be fine. Battery life is also great, and overall a very, very, very well-rounded phone for the price that you're getting, because you can easily find this used for like £500 or £600. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video, and yeah, solid phone. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.